Alrighty, so, slight rant video today, but before I get into the yapping about how much I hate this game that I play for hours a day, I just want to let everybody know that please subscribe, because at 200 subscribers, I am going to be creating a Discord so that I can give you guys updates on stuff and play around with y'all as well. That being said, the F-15 is a vehicle that I kind of skipped over the last time I talked about Japan, because I was pretty sure that it was going to be fine, not great, not terrible. I would quickly move through this guy, and then I would get on to the F-15JM and then move into the other trees. That being said, I was wrong. This thing, as you can see, I've not spaded it yet. I've not even got close. Don't even have all the weapons for it yet. My opinion's not going to change. It is, to put it mildly, very, very bad. And it kind of speaks to one of the bigger problems with War Thunder Aviation at the moment, which is decompression, or compression in this case. They have decompressed to some amount, and it's not as bad as it was. There's a little less of, flareless planes fighting stuff with all-aspect missiles, though it still does happen. Mainly it's stuff like the A-10 now. My problem more comes from higher tiers, and specifically this area around 13.0 to 14.0, because at 12.7 to 13.0, you get planes like the F-16A, and planes like the F-15A, and planes like the MiG-29. These are planes that are fine. There's nothing wrong with them. But in a fight against something like the Su-34 over there that keeps locking me up, there's very little I can do. Like, you could easily argue, yeah, my radar missiles can still kill him. Sure. My IR missiles certainly can. I've got AIM-9Ms. But unless I want to literally sit along the ground all game, he has the ability to simply hold me at arm's length by throwing Fox 3 missiles at me, and I can't close the distance, which I would need to do for IR missiles or radar missiles. Yes, you can sit off to the side. Yes, you can sit super low. But with planes like the F-15, you don't want to do that. This plane is designed for high-altitude interception, firing my missiles down at targets. I can't do that if I'm up against stuff that has not only a better climb rate, but once it gets up to that altitude that it wants, it can throw missiles with far more range that have a far higher chance to hit than mine. And it's just really annoying that that's something you have to deal with when flying these planes that you just shouldn't have to deal with. This should not be a concern when flying the F-15A. It's just silly that I have to worry about the fact that there are going to be guys hitting me in ways that I just have no chance to go back against. That's something that I really wish that they would address. And you can see here I'm getting tagged by something with a MiG-29 radar. I think this is that guy over there, but no, it isn't. It's something else. He might just be able to get into the ditch. Doesn't help that the American missiles are by and large kind of meh at the moment as well. Like AIM-7Ms, look at that. Reacquired the lock in half a second, but it doesn't matter because the AIM-7M just did not want to hit. And I'm dead. This is kind of the problem that I'm talking about with this plane. I did get that kill last round, but it doesn't matter. Normally I'd be upset if I only get one kill in an air match, but I'm not upset with this thing because, again, it's just not good. But, I mean, this match kind of shows exactly what I'm talking about. If you're in something that is a little worse, you can play a little specially and maybe go against equal stuff, but there's nothing on here I would be okay in a fight against, except for the other F-15A. Even a Kafir C-10. Derbies are just way better than anything in my arsenal. yeah, AIM-9Ms and when I get them AAM-3s are going to be fine, but they're nothing near ARH missiles. The capability difference between this and that is there's just no reasonable comparison. And I was talking about this with somebody else recently, but it's not the same with ground. With ground, if you have, for instance, the Wolf Pack or another light tank, you already know this. But there's plenty of like 10.0-ish BR light tanks where you can absolutely use them against 12.0 tanks like the T90M, and you'll do okay. Because all you got to do is hit them in their weak spots and things. In air, that's just not the case, which I get is part of the reason why air has more BR brackets. But it's just not enough. They need to... Like, in ground, they made some serious changes to reduce the capability, or reduce the chances of, for instance, Tiger 2s meeting anti-tank missiles. That was great. I think that's one of the best changes they've ever made. They need to now do that in air. There is no reason that, in my mind at least, that anything that only has Fox 1s should be facing Fox 3s. I do not think that Fox 3s should face non-Fox 3s at all. Yes, that will make certain planes like the, what do you call it? Like the Harrier 2 much better than it is right now. Or much worse than it is right now. And it would make planes like the F15A and the Su-27 and Su-33 probably perform much better than they do right now. I still see that as preferable to this situation. Because this is what the game is going to look like for me. Whether I die or don't die, I'm going to spend the majority of the game defending against missiles. And it's not even going to work. This is what it is to play this aircraft. And yeah, you could call this a skill issue, and I could be playing in a more tactical way, just hiding behind my teammates like I'm doing right now. But quite frankly, you shouldn't have to do that to be able to do well or have fun in the plane. Like, I don't even need 5 kills to have fun. I just want to be able to have some kind of BVR engagement with a plane literally built for BVR. But I can't. Because despite the fact that this thing was made for one specific purpose, it is not allowed to perform that purpose in-game because it will get immediately shot out of the sky by something made 50 years after it. I mean, that's not a joke. The Su-34, 40 years. The Su-34 is 40 years younger than this thing. The Rafale's a good 20. And they have a completely different missile type. That's insane. It is insane that you should be fighting to, like, in general, people already consider it a problem when you have planes that only have guns versus planes that have missiles. They consider it a much bigger problem when you don't have flares against those planes. This is basically the same thing. There is no countermeasure that is 1,000% effective against Fox 3s. That's okay. I like Fox 3 gameplay. What I don't like is the way that this game currently plays Fox 3s versus non-Fox 3s. Oh. Advanced IRCCM Fox 2s are already a nightmare to play against sometimes, but that's still nothing compared to what it feels like to try and play against these types of highly advanced Fox 3 missiles in something that has Fox 1s barely. AIM-7Ms are not, you know, enormously reliable or anything. The entire game is this. Like, you know, you can yap at me all you want for skill issue and for the fact that I have a hard time against these guys, but at the end of the day, this entire game is going to be me doing my best to defend. And at some point, I'm going to fail. And yeah, there it was to something that was more equal. But there should not be any vehicles in the game that are unable to perform their purpose correctly. This thing cannot perform BVR at the current searching. If it was at 13.0 and got 13.0 matches, I would actually feel a little bit better about it. Because, yeah, you're going to be up against stuff like the Kfir C10, you're going to be up against stuff like the F4F Ice, you're going to be up against stuff like the Harrier 2 that do have AMRAMs, but that have worse airframes, stuff like that. There is at least a disadvantage to them. This thing against 13.7s and 14.0s, what are we doing? Everybody has their problems with the BR and the Matchmaker. In general, I'm not against up tiers. I'm against the fact that this thing's up tiers aren't ever against a few Fox 3 planes. You're up against an entire team of Fox 3 planes. Because it's 13.0, it's up against 14.0. Which means all of those 13.7 planes that are barely worse than the 14.0s, the whole team is going to be those. You're going to have two of these things against an entire team of F-16Cs. It's just not fun. It's not fair. It's not good. You could change it to 12.7. You could. But it's not going to be much better. The real solution is trying to, like they created a BR gap between World War II tanks and missiles, creating a BR gap between planes that fire with radars that need continuous lock for their missiles to hit versus things that are able to launch off 10 missiles with no exceptions. The F-14, I think, blurs those lines at least a little bit because its airframe is so bad and its missiles just aren't quite as capable, but barely. Barely. In general, I really think that Fox 3s have no reason to be going up against Fox 1s. There was a time when Fox 3s first came out when they really didn't go up against Fox 1s, and then they just immediately decided to stop doing that because people played a little too good with the F-15A. Which brings into the other problem of Gaijin balancing vehicles based on how well players do rather than, how capable the vehicle is, which is why you've got stuff like the 2S38 that's way under BR'd because people just don't play well with it. Whatever. This video's already gone on long enough. Once again, please consider subscribing if you like my takes. If you disagree with my take, tell me in the comments. I'm willing to have an open discussion about it, but if all you're going to say is skill issue, I do better than about 70 to 80% of the War Thunder player base in every single one of my matches. Yeah, I'm not doing well with this plane. I'm not a bad player. And you shouldn't have to be a top 10% player to be able to do okay in a plane. Getting one kill per game should be the average. That should put you squarely in the middle. If I am above average and I'm consistently failing to get any kills in this thing, it's not a pure skill issue. It has to have something to do with the plane. And I did fine with the F-15A back when it was in the old Matchmaker. But ever since the Matchmaker change, this has been horrendous. I don't like this experience. I'm excited to be done with it because I am excited to play the F-16AJ, and I'm really excited for this lineup. Even if the F-16A OCU is quite bad, apparently, I'm still going to enjoy it because I like F-16s. That being said, that is all I have for now. I hope everybody has a great rest of their day, evening. I don't know when I'm going to end up uploading this, but take care, everybody, and I hope your games on War Thunder are more enjoyable than mine have been today.